How's it going, guys? Eye-Brawl here, hope you're all doing wonderful today. Today, Dawko has released his first episode of his new series, Fnaf Unsolved. This one is the Fnaf 4 box, featuring Fuhnaff, John Fuhnaff. This t-shirt is very fitting for today's video, as we'll be watching Dawko. I'm very excited for this, because Dawko always makes good series, like with his the Fnaf show, Season 1 2, Season 3 coming out later this year. And Scott Interview 1 and Scott Interview 2, which is actually today, by the way, in currently 2.5 hours time, which is very exciting. Oh, Dawko's Fazbear 64 fan game style right here. This is cool. See Paper Pals up there. Now 4 o'clock. That reminded me of Stranger Things. The box. Unsolved mysteries. That's really cool.
Hello everybody and welcome to the brand new series called
Fnaf
Unsolved.
Sure.
In this brand new series we're going to be discussing the most mysterious subjects in the whole of FNAF. And the first one today we're going to be talking about is the box in Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
Now Scott did say the contents of the box changed over the years.
That we talk about, we're going to be having a special guest. And the first guest on episode 1 about the box is John Fuhnaff.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here and talk about the box, and hopefully we'll solve it today.
This series is basically like a discussion podcast with special guests. It isn't a theory video. It isn't anything like that. It's not a video where we're going to say we solved the box or anything. It's just a nice little discussion video where we bring up the biggest subjects of mysteries in the franchise, basically.
Exciting
so
stuff.
lower your pitchforks, guys. I'm sorry, but nothing's going to be solved today. We're just giving our own thoughts to the biggest mysteries in the franchise. Okay? So let's get straight into it. So the box in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, 9 years later, is still one of probably the biggest mystery in Five Nights at Freddy's. The box was in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, right? That's the first time we got to witness the box for the first time. And it was getting the nightmare ending in FNAF 4. And it was locked. Yep. There was 2 locks attached to this box.
You could click the locks as well and they move.
You were clicking on the box and it was rattling and we couldn't open it.
And above the box, it says, perhaps some things are best left forgotten for now. Which insinuates to me that for now is like, oh, we'll learn about something later. Like this is a teaser for a next game, maybe. I think that's what I was thinking. I was like literally 15 years old at the time, but I think I was thinking like maybe this is a teaser for something new. Do you remember what you were thinking?
I think I originally thought that the box could be opened in FNAF 4. Like there was a secret night or something where it can be opened, like teasing that there's a way to open it in the game. I do actually remember in the files of the game that you could actually take the locks off. There was like coding or something. There was a way to make the locks fall to the ground. So maybe at one point Scott was going to have the box open in the game, and then he changed his mind for the next game, or you know, something like that. I
feel like people were trying like different patterns because you could like click on the locks and make them move. I feel like people were trying different patterns of like, oh, if you click on it 1,987 times, maybe it'll, you know, or something like that. I don't know. People were trying everything, but I don't think you can't open it in the real game. But it's interesting in the game files that you could open it. So after FNAF 4, I remember Scott made a Steam post saying that he originally was thinking about opening the box, but he decided not to, saying perhaps some things are best left forgotten forever. So I don't think he ever plans on revealing what's in the box, and I think it's just one of those things that's going to become something that's going to be talked about forever. But maybe he'll change his mind one day. But after FNAF 4, I remember we got FNAF World. And one of the box wasn't in FNAF World, but it was in the game files, and it was opened. So I think that's really interesting. And I remember I did research for this video, and I watched a video from DJ Sturf from 8 years ago, January 2016, where he was looking through the game files.
I remember
of FNAF
this.
World, and he found the box that was opened, and he also found where it was supposed to be. And it was actually supposed to be placed in the first glitch world that you go into, the blue one where you first enter the glitch world. It was supposed to be in that area. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either until today.
I knew that the box was open in the game files, but I didn't know where it was supposed to be placed. That's very interesting.
Yeah, there was like a little bit of coding on it, like feeding it random numbers between 1 and 63, I believe, but there wasn't really anything. You can't really open it or anything, but it was supposed to be. This is DJ Sturf, so if I'm wrong, I trust DJ Sturf, but it was supposed to be in the glitch world, which is really interesting. I think that's super important.
Yeah, I agree that it's important. And remember, guys, like this is the game after FNAF 4, okay? I know that Scott said some things are best left forgotten forever, but originally it was for now, and then he made FNAF World, and interestingly, the box is there, open in FNAF World.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say that the canonicity of FNAF World, like, people do think the game's canon. Even I think the game's a little bit canon because there's something in Ultimate Custom Night that connects back to FNAF World. Like if you do the Old Man Consequences and fall into the lake in Ultimate Custom Night, it unlocks the trophy in FNAF World. So I don't know. It could be canon. It could not. I don't know.
But that doesn't mean some of the ideas that were originally in FNAF World, it doesn't mean that some of those ideas are not allowed to be in the future of the story.
So because the box was supposed to be in the glitch world of FNAF World, like the blue first glitch world, I think because there's in FNAF World you can get to that like happiest day. It's called in the game files, but it's like the multicolored screen switching between colors, and like people think it's an angel or it's Scott's two kids and him. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
You get to that through the glitches, through going too deep into the glitches. So I think originally there was supposed to be more stuff hidden inside the glitch world, maybe, and the box and what's inside the box was maybe supposed to be part of that. But I do think it probably has to do with the crying child, because the map of FNAF World looks like the crying child's brain, or a brain, and I think FNAF World takes place in the crying child's brain, and it's all about Golden Freddy and all that stuff. So probably related to the box. I don't know. What do you think?
I've got a similar idea that FNAF World is all about Golden Freddy. And if you remember the Find the Clocks minigames, it's all setting up the instructions on how to get the happiest day at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. They are literally identical. We'll show all the minigames here in FNAF World. It is so obvious. It's literally right there, right? I don't think me and John are going crazy. The connection is 1,000,000% obvious. Look at all the mini games in FNAF World. They're all in the same order as well. When you find the clocks, they're all in the same order. So the first one is Balloon Boy. You put Balloon Boy in a spot.
Yeah, you push him into like a box, I think.
Yeah, and then the second clock is the Mangle quest, the combination on what to do on the arcade machines. The third clock is the Shadow Cupcakes. The fourth one is the Fredbear one. Did you push Fredbear or you do 395248? I don't know.
395248, yes.
You actually see that in the FNAF World.
Yes, you have to choose the right combination of numbers.
Yeah, and then the fifth clock is Shadow Bonnie. You move Shadow Bonnie or whatever. It is clearly obvious that Scott had that idea where we are setting up the happiest day ending to happen. Scott clearly had an idea where all of the FNAF World clock mini games are connected to FNAF 3. It is literally right there. There's a connection between those two, right? Why is the box open in FNAF World? There's got to be originally an idea that Scott had where all of this stuff, the big importance of FNAF World and the box open. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. It goes on to what we think's in the box.
God, I've never thought about the box this much in my life.
I had these are my two ideas, John, that what I thought was originally in the box. So I originally thought that either the puppets in the box originally, or the crying child's body or something.
The crying child's body. I used to believe that.
Those were my original things, and I was like, oh, because you know, if it's open in FNAF World and it's all about the crying child, then that means the crying child's body was in there. Or now, because you've said, oh, it's the puppet. The puppet could be setting it all up. Now you think, oh, it's open there. No, that means it could be the puppet in the box.
And people think that because in in FNAF 3, the puppet is the one giving the crying child their happiest day. So like people are, oh, so the puppet is in FNAF World setting up the happiest day. I don't know.
The last thing we're going to talk about the box's history is Dreamgeist from Fury's Rage. The box is inside of Dreamgeist with all of the other FNAF stuff as well.
And notably, it looks like the box is open and all of this stuff is like spilling out of the box. Like there's no locks on the box in the Dreamgeist head. It has Toy Chica without her beak, has all of the ball pit balls. It has a
reference to the Freddy in Space 2 teaser.
It feels like just a whole poking fun at Dream Theory. But I don't know, it could be deeper than that.
Yeah, it could be deeper than that. Like the whole box is the memory of FNAF 4, like the nightmares and stuff. Like trauma. The trauma's been locked away inside a box. Okay, guys, so that is basically all the history about the box. And ever since Dreamgeist in Fury's Rage, we haven't seen it yet. The next subject is what we think is in the box. Our ideas on what
There's so many different things it could
is
be
inside the box. Pretty simple, right? No, it's not. John, I'm going to kick it off to you. What do you think is in the box? Originally, what do you think was originally in the box?
Okay, originally, what I actually think is the box is all just a metaphor. I've thought this for a while. I thought it's exactly what kind of Scott said it was. It's all of the pieces put together. It's all of the answers being revealed. And I think Scott realized that revealing all of the answers is just kind of ruins the fun. It gets rid of the mystery. And I think he doesn't want to do that. I think it was just a big metaphor for all of the answers being revealed. But an interesting theory that I've had like recently about what's in the box is I think it was a toy box. Like if you look up what a like toy trunk looks like, it's like has the same design of like the two things on the front, like over the top of the box. I think when Scott said on scottgames.com, why is Tiny Toy Chica missing her beak? It became obvious that he's using the toys and the plushies in the game to kind of prove Dream Theory, in my opinion. I'm a Dream Theory believer, at least back then. But he was clearly using like the toys and the plushies. Like when you close the closet on Foxy in FNAF 4, he turns into a Foxy plushie. Like the toys and stuff are heavily involved with that theory and with the game. And I think originally that was supposed to be all of the toys that inspired the Crying Child's dreams that became the FNAF 1, 2, 3 games, if you know what I mean. Like the plush trap toy turned it like is like the idea for Springtrap. Toy Chica that the little girl on the grass is playing with is FNAF 2. If you know what I'm picking up on. Like look up a trunk for toys. I'll send your editor a picture, but it looks very similar to the box we get. So that's kind of recently. And also Dreamgeist, you see the open box and there's Toy Chica and ball pit balls. There's a bunch of toys in there. I don't know. That's kind of my recent theory, but what do you think? What do you think is in the box?
I think that's a good one. We were just talking about this earlier after we came onto this, guys, about Dreamgeist and the box being open in its head and all the memories of FNAF 4 spilling out of the box. The traumatic memories of Five Nights at Freddy's 4. It's kind of like what John said, like Dream Theory, but I'm just talking more specifically about Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the game, that it was a nightmare, and all of this trauma and the memories of that happening have just been trapped inside a box. I'm sure I've seen a movie or something where a therapist tells somebody to put their trauma inside of a locked box inside their head. I'm sure I've seen that somewhere, and I could have, it could be something like that. Michael Afton was having the nightmares, the memories of FNAF 4, what he did to the crying child. Very similar to what John said. The box was like a metaphor, like a meaning of the memories of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the events of what happened, all the trauma of the nightmares and everything.
You had another idea about the puppet being in the box.
Yeah, so originally, back in the day, I think a lot of people were thinking the same, that originally the puppet was in the box, originally. and like Afton like shoved the puppet in there or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think that was a big theory at the start, and it can link with Fnaf World, like it's open and the puppets in Fnaf World and creating the events of Happiest Day, something like that.
Yeah, and I remember people saying like it's connected to the Silver Eyes trilogy because Charlie was like in the fourth closet. She was found locked in a box, like in Aunt Jen, I think is her name's like basement or something, back room. She was like literally folded up into a box. So people were like, oh, that's what's in the box. It was Charlie or Puppet or whatever. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid theory as well. Yeah.
Another darker side to it could be that, you know, the box is connected to the bite victim, because, you know, it's all about FNAF 4. The dark side to it could be that Afton put the bite victim's corpse in there or something. It's pretty dark. Remember,
that's what you buried him in.
Video. I'm not saying
in the place
that's
in Midnight
canon,
Motorist.
but you know, something like that. Maybe it is a bit darker. But you know, when you discuss things, you have to think about everything. So
exactly. And now I'm thinking like, oh, maybe that's what the mound in Midnight Motorist is. That's the crying child's grave, and that's where the box is or something.
Yeah, I was thinking about that about Midnight Motorist, because in a future episode, guys, we are going to be talking about Midnight Motorist. That ground pile, I did think maybe that's where the box could be buried or something.
So I guess that comes back to the question: is it solvable? Do you think it's even solvable, or is it too much of a mystery?
I think Scott does know the answer. Of course he does. He knows originally what he was planning on doing. We will talk about that right now, actually. So one big thing that we haven't mentioned yet is in the Scott interview back in 2018. Scott does say that the contents of the box have changed.
He's absolutely right. The contents of that box have changed over the years because, you know, it's for that very reason. It's because, you know, of what I was intending the game to be when it happened, and then after the reaction of it, I was like, I need to craft this into something better.
So originally he had an idea what was in the box, and then he changed it.
Yeah.
So that is a very big thing to talk about in this video. It could have just been a slight change or something, or a major change. You know, it could have been like, oh, the puppet was in the box, but now it's Golden Freddy, or Golden Freddy was in the box, but now it's the puppet. Or
if you'll see it's changed even more,
now it's not. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is a big thing, and we're going to try and discuss our ideas on what Scott was thinking.
Right. I think in the interview, you're referencing the Scott interview you did, right? That's where he said it. I think he was mentioning MatPat, saying like MatPat mentioned that in a video once, and no one probably really thought much of it, but MatPat was he was kind of like the story, at least this is my interpretation. After FNAF 4, the story changed with Sister Location. I think it was originally supposed to be something around the lines of Dream Theory, and then the story became more grounded in reality. I feel like Scott in the interview says that he always tried to lean more sci-fi, but had to always pull it back because the audience didn't like sci-fi elements. And I think Sister Location added a ton of sci-fi, but also at the same time grounded the story a little bit more. And I think originally the box was supposed to be a metaphor for all of the pieces put together. And I honestly think MatPat got it right when he said that the box kind of changed to the FNAF 6 map. The FNAF 6 map looking like the box. Because in the ending where Henry's giving his big speech, parts of the map disappear and it turns into what looks like the box. I think MatPat was right in that idea. And Scott even admitted in the interview with you himself that like MatPat was right that because the story changed, the box indirectly, what was in the box changed as well. So I honestly think MatPat was right about that. I think the box was originally just a metaphor. For the pieces put together. And then I think the box turned into like what is the map of FNAF 6 and burning all the animatronics. Basically paragraph 4. Like burning all of the animatronics down in one place in FNAF 6. Yeah. I guess it's still a metaphor. It's MatPat's theory from back in the day about how the map of the FNAF 6, like chasing the animatronics around, looks like the box. How does it connect back to FNAF 4? I mean, it's concluding the story of everything of the crying child.
We didn't even talk about this. So originally, FNAF 4 was supposed to be the last game, right? Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be the final chapter. So I think originally, what John has said, what was in the box is the whole story. 1, 2, 3, and 4, the memories of that, all locked away in a box. All together, 4 games, 1 story. The contents of the box changed because Scott decided to continue the story after 5 Nights at Freddy's 4.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a great explanation. I really like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was originally supposed to be. Some things are best left forgotten for now, forever. Like, I just think it was all the story in that, like, I don't know, like a memory capsule or something. I don't want to make it too complicated, like a metaphor of all the story in one box, all the pieces together. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, it was supposed to be the final chapter, but then Scott decided to, you know what, I'm going to continue the story. And then he just left the box a mystery. It's still the same premise, that it's a metaphor of the story, but it got changed because the story continued. Mm-hmm. If it was something like the puppet in the box, I feel like Scott would have showed that in a game by now. I feel like he would have shown the puppet coming out of the box, being set free. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I really like the metaphor stuff, because in FNAF 6, you literally are taking every character and all the animatronics and putting them all into one place, and that's the end of the story. You burn everything to the ground in that map again. That looks like the box, kind of. I don't know what people think these days anymore, but yeah, I really like that. It's signifying the end of the story.
Yeah, but who knows, guys? Maybe it was an animatronic or a specific object inside the box that Afton put in, or Michael put in a box or something, or it was a toy box like John suggested.
We'll find out one day.
We don't know. Do you think that it will ever be solved? Do you think one day Scott will ever say what the original plan of the box was going to be?
Probably not for a long time still,
Maybe
but I reckon
one day,
yeah.
I honestly don't know. I don't know. It depends what he's thinking. It depends if he is satisfied with what the community has said. Maybe when the day people stop talking about it, he'll reveal what's in the box. I think that's the true answer. Mm-hmm. The day people stop talking about it is when he'll be like, okay, it's time.
I feel like there's some great ideas of what could be inside the box, but the only way we'll ever know the real answer is if Scott says something. I think there's too many ideas, and there's, you know, our ideas have things that are against it, and, you know, there's too much going on where ideas can just clash, and yeah, I don't know.
And I think that's the case with a lot of things in the franchise. For sure. I think
agree.
that's why it's been lasted so long, is because there's not concrete answers to a ton of things. So you kind of have to fill in the gaps yourself, theorize yourself. And I also think that's the fun of the franchise. I think it's super fun to think about what it could be.
It's one of the funnest things.
And maybe
to
one day
FNAF.
we'll get the answers. Maybe we won't. But right now, I'm just having fun theorizing.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, guys, like if it was the puppet in the box or something, I do feel like if the box was super important with a massive lore detail, it would have been shown by now. Yeah. So, yeah, if it was like Golden Freddy's mask, or the puppets, or you know, or a corpse or something, or anything super important, lore changing, he would have shown it by now. So I do feel like it was just a metaphor originally.
I agree. You're right. I think if it was something that you needed to know to understand the basic story of the games, he would have revealed it. Mm-hmm. So I think you're totally on point with that one.
So with the FNAF 4 box, me and John can say it will remain unsolved.
That reminds me of BuzzFeed Unsolved, Supernatural.
Thank you so much for
And
watching,
true crime.
guys, on episode 1 of Fnaf Unsolved. I really do appreciate it.
That was
Thank
good.
you,
I really enjoyed
John,
it.
for being my first guest of the series.
Oh, thanks for having me. I know our thoughts were kind of scattered, but that's just kind of how it is with this franchise. So
Yeah. But that's
I think it was fun.
Yeah, that's exactly how I wanted it though, guys. I wanted this to be like a discussion podcast style video where we just ramble our thoughts and just talk about it. It's not supposed to be like a detailed theory video or a planned video or something like that. I just want to talk about stuff with special guests about unsolved mysteries about the franchise. So yeah, if you guys have got
Really
any
good.
ideas as well, your own theories and ideas, what you think the box is, and do you think it will be solved, please let us know your thoughts in the comment
One day.
section.
I reckon
I'll
one day.
also
Not
put
for a long
John's
time, though,
channel
probably.
in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you all in episode 2 with the next special guest. Lots of love, and I'll see you all next time.
That was awesome.
Bye.
New outro music is not using Make Me a Hero. Wonder if that's a little tease for a new song he's working on. He hasn't done a Help Wanted 2 or Ruin song yet, so sounds good though. The unsolved like catchphrase at the end, just straight up BuzzFeed Unsolved true crime, because I love BuzzFeed Unsolved stuff, and it just reminded me of that. But it's FNAF edition, so it's even better. It's so cool. Can't wait to see all the other things they talk about. Dawko said about he'll be doing Midnight Motorist at some point, but I'm excited to see what other guests will be on the show. Probably, I mean, there's loads of people. I mean, this community is huge, you know. It's one of the biggest communities there are. I reckon we'll get the answers on the box one day. Maybe not like fully answered, but we'll get hints towards it, or new bits of new details about it, like revealed in future FNAF games maybe, or if it's like a prequel around FNAF 4 or again or something. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think is in the box. What your guys' theories on it. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, come back soon and have a phaserific day.